Hi, I'm Andy with Eco Cha, and here we are with batch number 30 of the Eco Cha Tea Club. And this month we are sharing a batch of eco-farmed Dong Pian Jade Oolong tea. Eco-farmed is the term that we've recently adopted, inspired by the farmer that we sourced this tea from, who operates an organically certified farm. But due to his experience here in the industry in Taiwan and the difficulties that he's had around organic certification and the restrictions that it's caused him, he has decided to use the term naturally farmed rather than put an organic certification on his retail product, even though he maintains his organic certification on his tea farm. So the farm is certified, he just simply doesn't call his product organic because he just got tired of the restrictions that were imposed upon him by doing so. He does what he believes in and calls his tea what is convenient to call it by in order to be able to market it here in Taiwan. We think this is a representation of sustainable practice going beyond these standardized certifications that well, it's a complicated matter, to put it succinctly, and we will use the term eco-farmed to represent tea that is cultivated organically but does not have a certification on it. And that allows us to source directly from farmers here that have organic farms, but not worry about the difficulties and complications of putting an organic sticker on our product as well. The Dong Pian part of this name represents a late winter harvest. And this batch of tea was harvested in January 11th, actually. And Dong Pian is anything that is harvested after the winter solstice, technically, so after December 22nd, as it is in here in Taiwan. What's special about Dong Pian? Well, the growing season, the leaves grow more slowly due to the climate conditions, due to the amount of sunlight, due to the weather conditions. And the result is to have more consistency in the leaf. They grow a little thicker, a little tougher, less water content typically, due to the winter growing conditions here in Taiwan. So Dong Pian or late winter harvests are typically processed as very lightly oxidized teas. So most of them are very close to a green tea, left unroasted, and they're just a very fresh green character, but with a depth of flavor, or just this kind of richness within that green character. This particular batch was allowed to oxidize more. Perhaps we can say that it was due to the finesse of the tea maker, as it's more difficult to push these leaves a little further and get them to oxidize more. But I would say that this batch is oxidized more than your standard high mountain tea, as it's referred to in Taiwan, or Gaoshan cha. And it was left unroasted. It's still quite green, but it has a balance to it, and you can see the redness and there's red hues throughout the leaves, and particularly at the edges and on the stems, that represent the level of oxidation. So we have a late winter harvest of naturally grown or eco-farmed Tsui Yu Oolong tea. Tsui Yu is the name, Chinese name given to this hybrid that was developed at the same time as Xuan, or what is more commonly known in English as milk oolong. Both of these were registered in 1981 by Taiwan's Tea Research and Extension Station. So these two hybrids were determined to be viable strains of tea to promote to the tea industry here as distinct characters. So they were offered for different reasons. And Tsui Yu was offered because of its very distinctive floral or herbal character or flavor profile. There's just something in the leaves that is beyond what your normal oolong and also what Xuan offers, particularly in terms of the aroma, but all through the palate and the finish as well. There's just this extra fresh herbs, or sometimes a rich floral character to it. Along with that, the distinctive flavor profile that it offers, Tsui Yu was found to yield about 20% more than the Tsui Oolong plant, which is the original plant brought over from China and is still the most commonly cultivated tea plant for oolong tea production here in Taiwan. So the research station was, as I see it and understand it, was just providing the industry here with different varieties of tea that grow better in different climates, different microclimates, and have distinctive qualities. That's the basic summary of their efforts, at least in that phase of their work in the early 80s. So we visited Mr. Xie a few months ago and asked, as we do typically, if he had any unique or particularly special, unusual batches of tea to share. And he modestly mentioned that he had some of this tea from the previous winter that he had kept separate from his normal production practice. So he took some out and we tried it and we thought it was really good, and we brought some home and decided the next day that it was definitely something that we wanted to share with the Eco-Cha Tea Club. It's floral, but it's foresty. It's got this richness to it, this depth of character. It's very satisfying in the aroma. And it's balanced. The texture of it, the mouthfeel, is very smooth and rich, quite thick. It's green, but it's so much more than green. It's like arugula or artichoke, some sort of savory aspect to it. It's quite distinct. We feel that the opportunity to share this batch is allowing us to represent the highlights that the Tsui Yu, or Tai Cha number 13, translated as Jade Oolong in English, have to offer. Another reason we feel like this batch is special is because Tsui Yu, or Jade Oolong, is becoming increasingly rare, mostly due to the presence and the proliferation of Four Seasons Spring, another hybrid strain that came on the scene in the last 20 years max. Tsui Yu cannot compete with that. The leaves are thinner and they're smaller in volume overall. Tsui Yu is also less hardy. Xuan is a very hardy plant. It can adapt to most climates here in Taiwan and do well. Tsui Yu is a little bit more picky. And basically, the farmers are replacing it with the other two hybrid strains in order to maximize their yield. That's the bottom line, despite the fact that Tsui Yu can produce a more unique and special quality tea. So we like to support the specialty aspect of the tea industry here. And this is another reason why we're happy to be able to share Tsui Yu as a Dong Pian harvest. So there's a double asset to this particular batch of tea. Yum. So there you have it, eco-farmed Dong Pian Jade Oolong tea for batch number 30 in the Eco-Cha Tea Club. We feel excited and honored, as usual, when we find our batches that are worthy of sharing with the Tea Club members. And we look forward to hearing your experience of this batch. And please put your comments on our website. Please, when you finish watching this video, click subscribe on our YouTube channel so that we can allow other people to see the teas that we offer. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next month.